Please be seated. All right. Well, good evening. I am Gordon Boschman, and I am honored to serve as your principal at Berthoud High School. Today, we are finally able to gather to celebrate with our graduates. After the past 5 months of craziness, I want to offer you a sincere welcome to the commencement ceremony for Berthoud High School's class of 2020. A special thanks to Michael DeWall, Karen Barrett, and Kristen Lust, along with a host of TSD personnel for their work in organizing the many details required to make today's ceremony a reality for our graduates. Thank you. Heck, they even installed a new scoreboard so we could show our new, all of our bright faces on there. So before we begin, I would like to take a moment to recognize all the former, current, and future members of our armed forces. We thank you for your service and for your sacrifice so that we may continue to enjoy so many freedoms our country affords us. Again, thank you. At this time, will you please join me? And gentlemen, please remove your hats and rise for the playing of our national anthem. You may be seated. Parents, families, honored guests, and graduates, today marks a very special accomplishment for the class of 2020. Their public school experience from kindergarten through their senior year has truly been like none other before them. Students in the class of 2020 were born into a world of adversity and have experienced numerous international, national, and local tragedies in their lives up until today, including 9/11, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, the stock market crash of 2008, the local flooding of the Big and Little Thompson rivers of 2013, and now COVID-19. Well, in the past 12 months of getting to know this class of 2020, I am confident they will continue to turn their experiences of adversity into opportunities for growth. You know, adversity is something nobody can elude forever. Whether you are a risk taker or someone who likes to play things safe, life will inevitably throw challenges in your direction. And while the last 5 months of your high school experience were definitely not what each of you had planned, expected, or deserved, your future remains bright and full of amazing opportunities for growth. Now, some of you may need to reset some of your goals for yourself, but always remember how active you are in dictating your own destiny and following your dreams. An absolutely amazing accomplishment of the class of 2020 is that collectively they have earned scholarships totaling in excess of $4.5 million. So again, a sincere congratulations to this resilient class of 2020. I would now like to take the opportunity to introduce our honored guests who have joined me on stage. Mr. Michael DeWall, Assistant Principal and Athletic Director, and Mr. Scott Kint, Science Teacher Extraordinaire, Department Chair, and Student Selected Guest Speaker. We are also honored to have all 7 Board of Education members join us today, including Paul Banks, Stu Boyd, Pam Howard, Lori Visda Ward, Don Kirk, Barbara Cruz, and Mark Sutter. We are also honored to have 3 Thompson School District, actually 5 Thompson School District representatives today, including Ms. Tracy Stagel, Executive Director of Teaching and Learning, Ms. Charlie Carter, Executive Director of Exceptional Student Services, Ms. Dawn Huckabee, Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Matt Kuhn, Chief Technology Officer, and last but not least, Dr. Mark Schaefer, Superintendent of Schools. Well, now I am pleased to invite our special guest speaker, as chosen by the seniors. From our science department, Mr. Scott Kint.
Hello and congratulations, Berthoud High School class of 2020. It's so good to see you all. I would like to welcome you, along with your family, guests, my colleagues at Berthoud High School, Thompson board members, and Thompson School District administrators. To begin, I would like to express how humbled and grateful I am to have this opportunity to speak before you. This is truly an honor of a lifetime. As some of you know, I'm a man of few words, and I usually get straight to the point. I've always felt a special connection to your class, and I have to say, these last few months have been anything but normal. To be honest, you have to admit, back in March, having an extended spring break might have felt like a nice bonus at the time, but things quickly spiraled out of your control. I can only begin to imagine what some of you must be feeling. The spring of your senior year was supposed to be a time filled with precious memories, like your senior prom, track, girls soccer, tennis, baseball, and taking Mrs. Brandvold's final exam in person. I don't want to focus on what has been lost, but rather one of the lessons we might have gained from this COVID-19 pandemic. One thing for sure is that you're all living in historic times, and you will always be remembered as the quarantine class of 2020. There's an ancient Chinese saying that one would give to their enemies, "May you live in interesting times." And these are interesting times indeed, but what have we gained, aside from learning how to live at our parents' house for the past 5 months under quarantine? Well, for one thing, many people go through their entire life only to realize in the end that they wish they had lived every day to its fullest. Do not count the days, make every day count, I have heard. I believe this is one of the most important lessons in life. In Latin, the words are carpe diem, or as Robin Williams used to say, seize the day. Now, this doesn't mean to live life recklessly in total abandonment. I've tried that and it doesn't work, okay? Instead, it means to cherish the people around you and living life to its fullest. Don't ever take anything for granted, okay? Including the people in your life. Having the spring of your senior year taken away from you has taught you what carpe diem is all about. As you look at these mountains behind the clouds there, remember that Berthoud will always be your home, but don't be afraid to venture out into this world that many of you lived in for your entire life. And as you venture into this world, always remember the wonderful people of Berthoud, your coaches, your mentors, your family members, your friends, your teachers. They will always be here for you. Just before the quarantine began, we all watched the Berthoud High School girls basketball team bring an entire community together. Robotics and Knowledge Bowl were poised to do great things. Then life as we know it came to an abrupt halt. Many of you have accomplished so much in your 18 years of life, and I know that you will go on to accomplish many more great things. However, starting now, you're about to enter into a new phase, a new journey in your life. For those of you who are going into a service-oriented career, such as the military, police academy, or medical fields, words cannot convey my deep appreciation for your sacrifice. It takes a special person to do what you are about to become. As you all go off into this new and exciting journey, I would like to give you this priceless piece of advice. The single most important thing that you can learn at school is what you want to do with the rest of your life. While I was in college, I was in and out of multiple majors, never really understanding why I was there. Going to college just seemed like the next thing to do at the time. I might have told you about that time my sophomore year when I came home on that very dark winter break, only to discover that my father had just found out he had spent over $10,000 for his son to take a bunch of racquetball and ice skating classes. And I'm still really bad at racquetball and ice skating. Once it was that I discovered what I truly wanted to do, which of course is teaching science, everything made sense. College had a deeper purpose for going to school. I have always been impressed with your class because many of you have already found your purpose in life and what it is that you want to do. For those of you who are still searching, do not succumb to the outside pressures of what you think will please others. You must look inward. As your science teacher, I would often say, use your mind to figure it out, or have an open mind, just not so open that your brains fall out. Well, this time, I'm telling you to look inward and listen to your heart. Who are you at your very core? That is what's going to truly make you happy. Sometimes in college, I would hear people say their senior year that they didn't really like their major anymore, but it was too late or too expensive to change. Too late to change? What do you mean, I would say to them? You're going to be spending the rest of your life in a career you hate. When it comes to finding your purpose in life, it is never too late to change your path. It doesn't matter what career path you choose. What matters is that you listen to your heart. Find a career path you love, and your passion for that career, I guarantee, will make the world a better place. I could end with a famous quote from Winston Churchill or Steve Jobs, but I'd rather leave you with the words I heard on a song this morning, originally done by George Benson and then Whitney Houston. I decided long ago to never walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believed. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. Seize the day, follow your heart, thank you for the memories, congratulations, and may God bless the Berthoud High School class of 2020. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kent. Well, we are now ready to present the senior class of 2020. And we will begin with a speech from our co-valedictorians, Kyle Pinto, son of Sherry and Carl Shiflett, and Jacob Isley, son of Elaine and Kenneth Isley.
Well, it's a little windy out here. Thank you. There we go. All right, so congratulations, everybody. We made it. It's been a long time, and it probably doesn't feel right to be at a graduation party 5 months after our last day in school, but here we are. Well, a little less than 19 years ago, our great country was struck with disaster as the World Trade Center was subject to a horrific terrorist attack, the likes of which the world had never seen. The country was overcome with a fear they hadn't possessed since the days of the Cold War, and it was into this America that we were born. We began our lives in a country stricken with fear and polarized in their response to this crisis. Now, as we take our first steps into adulthood, we're faced with a nation plagued by a similar fear and polarization. We will no longer be remembered as just the class of 2020, but instead as the class of COVID-19. Our nation and our world are divided and afraid. Just before spring break, the only things any of us had on our mind were getting ready to tough out the fourth quarter of our senior years, to ask our crushes out to prom, to study for our final exams, or to finish throwing together those seemingly infinite scholarship applications. But then, to everyone's surprise, our last day of our third quarter became our last day of in-class instruction, as we suddenly transitioned to a life of quarantine in a matter of weeks. One by one, our plans were canceled as the public health crisis forced any and all social gatherings to shut down. No more prom, no more senior sunset, no more grad parties, no more sports championships, club competitions, seeing your friends, even going out to restaurants to celebrate your achievements. Instead, we all had to remain cooped up at home, fighting with our siblings over toilet paper and struggling to get our computers set up for the slew of Google Meet and Zoom meetings. Our usual stable routines and plans were replaced with irregularly checking Google Classroom and accidentally sleeping through those morning lectures. Our teachers and staff worked tirelessly to develop a modified curriculum that would do its best to emulate our traditional in-class experience without making any of us feel cheated out of an integral part of our development and education. And let's not forget how those AP exams were replaced with tiny 45-minute shots of caffeine and adrenaline as we tried to spill a whole year's worth of knowledge in just a few minutes because we knew all too well our internet from the last decade was going to take a lot longer than 5 minutes to upload our work. For almost all of us, our lives were drastically changed. Some of us dealt with serious mental health issues as a result of social isolation, and some of us lost someone irreplaceable forever. But today, we still stand here before the world, wiping the dust off our hands and the sweat from our brow. We hold our fists up again, ready for the next punch life will throw our way. Because although the world may try to define us by our challenges, call us the class of COVID-19, and pity our struggles, we are the ones who choose how we want to define ourselves and how we want to shape our own world. We aren't just the generation that was born into post-9/11 America, nor are we just the class struck by the coronavirus. We're the ones who overcame both these crises and many, many more. The obstacles we've faced aren't who we are. What truly defines us is how we all come together during these times and how we use them to press on. We are the next generation, and we're just getting started. Thank you, Mr. Buffy.
Everybody hear me? Yeah, good? Okay. Yes, what defines the class of 2020 is its compassion for others and its willingness to give back. Adversity comes in a natural, shifting cycle, but it's the way that our class is able to respond to this cycle which demonstrates these amazing qualities. When we are faced with an academic obstacle, like a calculus or physics exam. We show our compassion by forming tutoring groups in order to help each other succeed. When our morale suffers due to other obstacles in our school, the class of 2020 creates togetherness by joining, founding, and leading clubs like Sources of Strength, National Honor Society, and Student Council in order to create events that spread happiness and support. When our community struggles, the class of 2020 is there to work for our local businesses, grow food in our community gardens, and do countless volunteer activities for those who need it the most. While this trend of support shows our compassion and our unity, it also demonstrates the way that we are able to cancel out a cycle of adversity with a cycle of support. Students that get help in school are able to give help in school. A community that gets help from volunteers is able to fund our schools and to grant scholarships, which will help us go out into the world. The class of 2020 gives its support in countless ways, and so we receive help in countless ways. When we are all compassionate, selfless, and hardworking, together, we are able to lift up our entire community and scale any obstacle in our way. The cycle of support is not only what makes you all special, but is the key to making our future special. I know many of us are afraid of missing out on the joys of our futures because of the recent events in our lives, but these obstacles become temporary when we help each other. There will be a time when we can travel abroad, when we can explore the cosmos, when we can change our world, and when we can celebrate with our friends. No obstacle, challenge, or historical event can take that away from us so long as we work together. Our cooperation as a community has made it so that celebratory times like parties, dinners, and barbecues can be just around the corner, and has brought us all here to celebrate today. As all of you go out into the world, I want you to remember to give as you've always given, and to receive help whenever you need it. Together, we have been selfless and compassionate, and now it is your turn to share these qualities with a new community. Although the obstacles of today seem to be massive summits, together we can scale our way to the top. Congratulations, everyone. You have worked so hard to climb this mountain of high school. Now it's time to celebrate as you take the next step into your futures. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle and Jacob. Well, these young, resilient men and women seated before you today have met the academic requirements of the state of Colorado and the high standards and expectations of the Thompson School District. By the authority given to me by the Thompson School Board, it is with great pleasure that I authorize the presentation of graduation medallions to the Berthoud High School's class of 2020. At this time, we would like to begin the presentation of medallions to the class of 2020. Graduating seniors, their names will be read by our salutatorian, Andrew Roddinghaus, son of Nicole and Michael Roddinghaus. And because Andrew is our salutatorian, he will be the first senior to receive his medallion. Andrew, could you please come up to the stage? No, we're okay. All right, let's get started. Andrew John Roddinghaus. And you can just walk across. So do you want first row? So I would get you can start. I would just say first row. Stand. First row, please stand.
Just the first row.
Jacob Isley, Kyle Pinto, Daisy Anchondo Wagner, Juliet Babiak, Alyssa Bailey, Sam Baird, Christina Ball, Ashlyn Valier, Catherine Ballinger, Mary Barcheski, Erica Baird, Riley Bebo, Michaela Bennington, Cassidy Berry, Rachel Bird, Kimberly Blau, Victoria Brandon, Brianna Brettel, Jacob Brush, Lillian Buck, Lily Burtis, Spencer Calkins, Sydney Campbell, Kevin Carter, Taylor Cave, Emily Cavey, Tristan Clarkson, Kyle Conlin, Kara Courtright, Faith Cushman, Ethan Dakota, Lily Degnan, Mackenzie Donker, Caitlin Drexler, Julianne Evans Dennison, Sarah Foley, Malachi Frazier, Caden Garcia, Michelle Garman, Hunter Gerner, Isabel Giddings, Eric Godfrey, Sean Griffith, Cody Gustafson, Caitlin Haynes, Aaron Hardy, Taitlin Harryfeld, Callie Hartel, Ashley Hyatt, Andrew Hill, Tegan Holmes, Amber Holt, Brent Hoogland, Tucker Horsch, Gunnar Hudson, Jordan Huff, Nate Holsey, Julian Kaiser, Abriel Khan.
All right. Well, as luck would have it, we have inclement weather, and according to CHASA guidelines, we are required to delay our graduation by 30 minutes. So here's the directions. If you could, please meet with your parents and wait in your cars, and we will make a decision to return at 7:10, as it is 6:40 right now. So again, please, for the safety of yourselves and your parents, please meet in the parking lot in the car, and we will get you information to return by 7:10. Thank you. Enough stories to tell about your last 5 months at Berthoud High School. You've got an extra story about graduation. We are going to continue. The lightning strikes are far enough in terms of miles away from here that we can continue. So we will continue announcing the graduates. So if we could have the next row, and Mr. Rottinghuss will continue his fine announcing of names.
Logan Kilgro, Landon Kindred, Lucas Klein, Jack Knobloch, Lourdes Kuba, Isabel Lawrence, Audra Leeper, Bethany Lester, Katrin Leatherbarrow, Brock Leopold, Abigail Lombatis, Emma Lundgreen, Zidane Markey, Sarah McCormick, Aiden McIntosh, Bella Marin, Emma Miller, Bryce Mitz, Devin Moneypenny, Caitlin Norris, Grant Pat Novak, Elia Parks, Trinity Payne, Susan Pennock, Haley Pepper, Paige Petrocco, Skylar Radloff, Rebecca Reed, Adrian Regito, Haley Reckenbach, Hannah Roberts, Taylor Rogers, Robbie Ross, Heriberto Sanchez, Jordan Schachterly, Ryler Shelley, Richard Schiraldi, Gabriana Schomer, Alexandria Schultz, Caleb Smith, Cooper Stratmeyer, Callie Taylor, Jasmine Vanderwall, Dawson Visker, Leah Walton, Caitlin Whipple, Taylor Whittet, Sage Widner, Jenna Williamson, Chase Williams, Colton Williams, Dalton Williams, Kelsey Whitting, and Olivia Wright.
Well, thank you, Andrew, and graduates. The graduates who were unable to attend today's ceremony will be honored in our virtual graduation video that will be released on July 25th. Well, may I please have Katrin Leatherbarrow, the senior class vice president, finalize our ceremony with the turning of the tassels. All right, congratulations, Berthoud High School's class of 2020. We wish each of you the best of luck and a safe and prosperous future. Graduates, please remember to return your cords and sashes as you exit the field. Thank you.